40 leaders. This is the 5th annual announcement of the new age and new generation leaders who had contributed better relations between EU and India, UK and India. And I'm sure the awardees are quite excited and pleased to be here. And thank you for all of you joining from across the world, especially from Europe, UK, and India. And may I thank member of parliaments across UK, Europe, and India for gracing this occasion and time to be present. Especially thanks to Morten LØKKEGAARD, who is the chair of the EU-India delegation, Valerie Vaz, who is member of parliament of the Labour Party in the UK, and Lavu Krishna, who is in the parliament right now doing his speech, but he'll be here in, I think, about 2 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So we'll wait for his speech when he comes back. And that's from me. So may I now pass on to the chairman of EICBI, Sujit S, for an introductory remarks of the proceedings, and then we'll take on from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Aryan. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone from UK, from EU, from India, you're joining us for this interaction today. This is our 5th year of our announcement of our Europe India 40 leaders list. And my name is Sujit Nair. I'm the chairman of Europe India Center for Business and Industry. We are an independent organization which has been promoting trade relations in the UK-India space, EU-India space for the past 12 years now. We have done series of our engagements at the UK Parliament in London, the European Parliament in Brussels, and other locations, so has to provide a platform for companies and various stakeholders in promoting EU-India, UK-India trade relations. Our Europe India 40 leaders list is one of a kind by which we tend to showcase the work of leaders under the age of 40, whom we believe are the future of the UK-India, EU-India relation. We first released this list 4 years back. This happens to be a 5th year by which we have been releasing this on an annual basis. And this includes leaders who are playing a key role in building this relationship. Now, without much ado, I would request Councillor Aryan to welcome, to give a brief note about Morten LØKKEGAARD, and invite him to speak during the interaction.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations, by the way. What an achievement to join this esteemed group advancing Europe-India relations at such a crucial time. I have had the pleasure of being the chair of the European Parliament delegation to India for a little more than a year now. And it's inspiring to see the fast pace of development between our two regions. The European Union and India share a long history of cultural ties, economic cooperation, and, of course, a commitment to democratic values. The challenge we're facing today, be it climate change, global health, or technological and innovation, require collective efforts and international cooperation. And I believe the EU and India in cooperation can be at the forefront of this. The strategic partnership between our regions has evolved significantly over the last years, and it will continue to grow in the coming years. And not least because our current free trade negotiations. I just happened to speak with the European chief negotiator, Mr. Krishna, the other day, and we are making progress, although we of course still have obstacles as always in trade negotiations. But I'm optimistic. This is a game changer. These talks represent monumental step in boosting economies ties between our regions. It's not just because it's just not about business. It is about creating opportunities, jobs, and fostering growth on both sides. By breaking down trade barriers, we are not just talking commerce. We are building a foundation for a more interconnected and prosperous future. And this is, of course, where you come in to the picture. The nomination of each and every one of you by the EICBI is a testament to the dedication you bring to advancing positive relations between EU and India. We need these ties in the future. It is crucial that young leaders like you pave the way for this strengthened relationship. Your efforts are crucial in building bridges and fostering mutual respect, creating a foundation for enduring partnerships. As we celebrate your accomplishments today, remember, you are not just contributing to bilateral relations, you are actually shaping the global community's progress. Your commitment to advancing the EU-India relationship signifies a forward-looking approach that goes beyond national boundaries. The class of 2023 represents a diverse array of talent and expertise, united by a common goal, strengthening the ties that bind Europe and India. Your achievements, whether in business, academia, or civil society, highlight the endless possibilities when minds from different backgrounds converge for a shared purpose. Your efforts are instrumental in building bridges and fostering mutual respect, creating a foundation for enduring partnerships. As we celebrate your accomplishments today, I encourage you to remain steadfast in your commitment to furthering the EU-India relations. Your journey does not end here. It marks the beginning of a responsibility to nurture and expand the connections you have forged. Embrace the challenges that lie ahead, knowing that your efforts contribute not only to bilateral relations, but also to the global community's progress. In conclusion, let me express my heartfelt congratulations once again to all of you. Together, we can build a future that reflects the shared values of democracy, diversity, and prosperity. Thank you for your commitment to the EU-India relationship, and best wishes for your continued success.
Thank you. Thank you, Morten. I mean, that's, thank you, especially for being present. You know, it's very important that people like you encourage EICBI and other think tanks for prospering India-EU relations. And I hope all our awardees would enjoy receiving the award and from your gracious occasion. Thank you so much.
Now, this year's 2023 class of leaders, we had 11 men and 9 women who made up the 20 members of our 2023 class of EuropeIndia40 leaders. These leaders came from 13 different nations. And so it was quite a diverse list. Initially, when we did start off our EuropeIndia40 leaders, it was called 40 under 40. So obviously we had 40 leaders under the age of 40. But as the list grew bigger over the years, as we had more people coming in, we really found it difficult to have 40 leaders. So, but then we still did stick to that under the age of 40, but we reduced the number because we did not want to reduce the quality of the list. So that's how, instead of having 40 leaders, we just decided that we are going to have a smaller number, but would sort of maintain the quality of the list. So that's how this year we have 20 leaders who make up our 2023 class of EuropeIndia40 leaders. Now we will start off with the induction. So we have 2 more MPs that will join us. So when these MPs join in, we will sort of pause the induction of our 2023 class, have the MPs speak for a few minutes, and they would sort of continue the induction process. And now first, I would like to invite Anurupa from Estonia to our 2023 class of leaders. Anurupa, I do see you here. Anurupa, this is your certificate.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I am, my name is Onurupa, but in case it's too long and complicated, you can just call me Onu. This is my baby Honor. And a little bit about me. I'm a creative director in the industry of advertising. And what I like doing the most is using advertising, marketing, and creativity to do good for society and for the world. So the work which defines my passion the most, I moved to Estonia 6 years ago. And when I came to Estonia, the legal age of sexual consent was only 14. So it was legal to have sex with 14-year-old children. And then I launched an advertising campaign called 14 is Not Okay. for which I won the Cannes Lion last year. For those who are not from advertising, Cannes Lion is like the Oscars of advertising. It was the first Cannes Lion for Estonia. So because of the campaign I did, the age of sexual consent was raised to 16. So I think a few children have gotten protected along the way because of the law change that was possible because of the power of advertising. So that's one thing that I do, advertising for good. And the second thing that I do is I have opened an agency called Optimist India. The team actually sits out of Estonia, so it's actually the other way around. The world is used to usually just outsourcing marketing, creative, and writing to India because they think it's cheap. But I thought, why not do it the other way around? What about Indian companies that want to enter the EU market and need an agency sitting in EU to help them understand the audience, the design, the copy, the communication. So yes, so my agency is called Optimist India, and the team sits out of Estonia. We have award-winning writers, art directors, motion graphics people, production team, and the goal is to encourage Indian companies to enter Europe with the right kind of communication. So that's just a little about me, and I hope to collaborate with you all and broaden my horizons and have a good time along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Anurupa. That's a very inspiring story. I hope that you get further engaged with the EICBI and we play a further role in enhancing EU-India relationship.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to induct Emile from France to our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia40 leaders. Emile, this is your certificate.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for this. I've been taken a bit by surprise. I didn't know it was today. So my name is Amiel. I'm French. Been in India in Bangalore specifically for about 13 years now. I'm a chef. So what we do is promote the European cuisine here in Bangalore. Our core business is catering. So we do a lot of private parties, corporate parties for events. So while using local produces, local staff, local equipments, we try to promote that French other way, as we call it. So yeah, European gastronomy, promoting European gastronomy in India and trying to grow as much as possible along with the market. We have more and more people who are traveling abroad, so much more awareness about what we are trying to do. So for us, it's a great place to be at a great time right now. So enjoying cooking as always, enjoying feeding guests. Yeah, and thank you for the opportunity for this reward.
Thank you, Amal. Interesting story coming to Bangalore from France and making the Bangaloreans and Indians to taste the European cuisine.
Thanks.
And also, I hope we did send an email to all EuropeIndia40 leaders about our EU-India Leaders Conference on the 6th of March. So, of course, it's a virtual ceremony. So the physical certificate for those who would be coming in, of course, that's going to be a separate email, but I thought I'd sort of let you know it's on 6th of March. So we'll be sending you a detailed email on that. Thank you, Emil. Next, I would call upon artists from France to be inducted to our 2023 class of leaders. Artists, this is your certificate.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sujit. And yeah, so many thanks to EICBI. I mean, it was obviously a pleasure and an honor to be, when I learned that I was a part of the EuropeIndia40 leaders. And it was actually an even greater pleasure as I was actually born in India. in Orville, near Pondicherry in Tamil Nadu. And this is why, as you could see on the certificate, my second name is actually Balarama. So I used to speak Tamil when I was a kid, no longer, but yeah, I still know a few words. And yes, I mean, as part of my role, basically, so I'm the director for the UK, Ireland, and India at Nord France Invest. It's the investment promotion agency for the Hauts-de-France region in the north of France. And my role is basically about strengthening economic and business links between the UK and Ireland, but also India and Europe, really positioning the Hauts-de-France region as the new ideal gateway to European markets for British, Irish, but also Indian companies to help them continue to access European markets. And so this region can really become a special link between these different blocks. So my overall aim is really to promote trade, investments, development in general, but also in all fields and all sectors, especially in crucial sectors for our future, including green technologies, hydrogen, decarbonization of transport, etc. So these are the topics that I'm working on a day-to-day basis. And so I was actually in India last week, in Chennai, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad as part of my role. I went there last year too, and yes, I'll be continuing to travel to India to build bridges between India and in Europe and the UK, hopefully. So I'm delighted to continue my task, not just as part of my role, but also as part of this broad network, which I'm delighted to join. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Artis. Next, I would like to invite Bernd from Austria to our 2023 Class of Europe India 40 Leaders. Bernd, this is your certificate.
Oh, thanks a lot. Really nice that you organized all this virtual ceremony. As I understand, all of us are spread all over the world. I'm myself here in New Delhi. I'm the commercial attaché at the Austrian embassy here and deputy head of Advantage Austria. Well, basically, we support Austrian and European businesses connections here in India and vice versa, with a particular focus on startups and innovation. So we just last year alone we had 4 startup delegation from India go to Europe, and 1 Austrian startup delegation from here. It's really lovely to see all those different alleys of cooperation. So thanks a lot for promoting all those initiatives with all your efforts. And yeah, cheers, and hope to see you in live or in person at some point. So thanks a lot again.
Thank you, Bernd. Next, I would like to invite Gaurav to join our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia 40. Sorry, this is Gaurav Sharma. So basically, we have 2 Gauravs in this group. So to be clear, it's Gaurav Sharma from Poland to our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia 40 Leaders. Gaurav, this is your certificate.
Thank you very much for that. I'm just very honored to be a part of this like distinguished like group of people who are all working in the EU-India and the UK-India like business corridor. I'm deputy head of private projects and Europe at the European Business and Technology Center, EBTC. So EBTC started off as an EU-funded project in 2008. The main mandate of EBTC was to support EU and Indian business collaborations, particularly in areas of green technology, sustainable transportation, ICT, and so on. Since 2016, we are now a not-for-profit organization or Section 8 company in India, but the mandate is the same. So we do support EU businesses in India, or either through engagements with them like directly, or by support to the India-EU policy dialogues. So that is something that we are really active in. And once again, thank you very much for considering me, and honored to be a part of this group.
Thank you, Gaurav. Next, I would like to welcome Gaurav Daga, who's from India, to our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia 40 Leaders. Gaurav, this is your certificate. I don't see Gaurav here now. We go to the next leader. I would like to next welcome Kira from Finland to our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia 40 Leaders. Kira, this is your certificate.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. I spend a lot of my time with older statesmen, diplomats, and very old academics, so it's very nice to be included in a network of people with most of their careers still ahead of them. So I am a fellow in international relations at the London School of Economics, where I do research on Indian diplomacy, on the Indian Foreign Service in particular, so trying to understand how Indian diplomats get socialized into thinking about the world, how the IFS and the MEA work internally, and how India views the world. I was previously at the University of Oxford, where I was a departmental lecturer and also did my PhD. And the way that I'm still associated with them is that I am the India lead for the Oxford Dahrendorf program. The Dahrendorf program is essentially a project partly funded by the European Union that tries to make sense of Europe's place in a sort of post-European world. And I'm the India lead there. So we're trying to think about how European nations and the EU and the UK can think more meaningfully about engaging with India. And my task there is to push back on sort of European conceptions of India and try and understand how the country thinks about its own rise on its own terms. As a result, I actually had a book come out 2 weeks ago. I have it right here. Cosmopolitan Elites, Indian Diplomats, and the Social Hierarchies of Global Order, which does exactly what I said earlier. It is a sort of a history and sociology of the Indian Foreign Service that then tries to think about where India is going and how India thinks about the world. I'm a member of the UK Foreign Office's India and South Asia Analysts Network, where we're trying to bring academic expertise and policy expertise on India and South Asia together here in London, so that there is better communication between different fields of expertise. I write and comment on Indian diplomacy for public-facing outlets, The Economist, Foreign Policy. I think we had friends from France, Le Figaro, and obviously Indian publications as well. So trying to do this work of sitting in my very nerdy academic bubble sometimes, but then also finding ways in which to communicate to stakeholders, to policymakers, to the public, how to best think about India, not through a sort of Western-centric, Eurocentric lens, which is what a lot of the academic research unfortunately does, but understanding India sort of from the perspective of New Delhi.
Thank you, Kira. Next, I would welcome Lucinda from Ireland to our 2023 class of leaders. Lucinda, this is your certificate. Lucinda, unfortunately, today wouldn't be joining us. So before we go to the next leader, we have the Indian Member of Parliament, Mr. Krishna, joining us. Basically, he's at the Parliament House in Delhi today. Sir, I welcome you to share your views on India's relation with UK and EU with our next generation of Europe India 40 leaders. I mean, obviously, he's also around 40, so obviously it's all the same group out here.
Good morning, UK, and good afternoon, India. Just in the introduction, you mentioned about joining from the Parliament. Yeah, very interesting day in Parliament today. I'm sure the news is coming through, what's happening. So yeah, let's start off with thank you, European Indian Center of Business and Industry for inviting me. And thanks to Uday and his team for making this happen. And also, I'm deeply happy and pleased to share the stage with Member of EU Parliament and Chair of EU India Delegation, Mr. Morten LØKKEGAARD, and UK Labour Party Member of Parliament, Mrs. Valerie. So first of all, let me congratulate the winners of all the winners and the awardees of India-UK delegation in various fields. Until this whole thing has been put up, I have at least personally have not actually gone through the details of the close relationship that EU and India is maintaining, and the great things, amazing things that both these areas are doing. Once we looked at the trade and everything, India is one of the #1 partner with the UK, with the EU. and we've been doing almost $75.8 billion of trade in 2012 itself. That's the numbers that's been given, and there are more to go as India is getting stronger and bigger as an economy. This is good for EU and UK and all the democratic countries across the world. As India gets bigger, the bigger market opens up for all these great products, great innovations to come into India and give it to such a huge and diverse population of India. So we are very much excited to take this relationship with EU much further. And I also know that there are few obstacles, or I should use the word challenges, that are there in this relationship with respect to the one that mainly is hindering is the free trade agreements that have been in negotiation for so many years, almost from 2007 itself, more than 15 years. These negotiations are happening, but hopefully the union government here is saying that with the UK, we are going to finalize it before the elections. I hope with Europe also, we show that much of urgency, not just from the Indian side, but also from EU side also. They show that much of emergency, so that this economic and trade relations will go much bigger and better. And with regards to opportunities that are there in India, the main opportunities, yes, everyone knows that it's a huge market to tap into. More than the economic side of it, if you look at the way the energy consumption is happening in India, any developed country has gone through this transition, but India is going to be the first country where the transition is going to happen with majority of it energy coming from the renewable energies. So this is the one area that European Union should actually look into it and see that they focus on this area, focus on investing in this area, because if, as I mentioned earlier, if India grows up to be in a bigger way, it's good for the world. But if it grows, if it expands its economy in a way that it is much more sustainable, it is even better for every country across the world. So I hope European Union would have heard this lesson very clearly and very loudly from our Prime Minister when he was there for COP28 in Dubai recently. And I hope all our friends from European Union take this and make sure that they can be part of this huge transition, huge growth story that is happening in India right now. And the other challenges, and mostly I don't use the challenges. Other opportunities that are there are the collaboration opportunities that are there in technology space. If you see, every technology is getting disrupted right now, be it mobility, be it telecommunication, be it battery storage, whatever that has been there until now, every technology is getting disrupted. So we need that research partnerships to happen so that India can grow much in a faster and organic way. Right now we have amazing institutions in India, but the research facilities that are there, research output that is there in India, it can get much better if the collaborations in research happens with the universities in European Union. I hope people that are listening here will take a note and make that happen. And last but not the least, there is another opportunity that is there with respect to the EU CBAM. So this is one thing that both the parties remain committed to finding solutions. So I hope with this bilateral ties that we are trying to foster here, I hope we will find the solution towards this. And I hope this partnership between EU and UK and India becomes much stronger and much bigger. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lavu Sri Krishna for joining us from the Parliament. I know you had a speech today, but thank you for taking time and coming, and really appreciate your presence and time. It means a lot for all the Europe India 40 leaders. Obviously, you're under 40 as well. You're more eligible than anyone in the room now, but as a restriction, you're an MP. So let's represent India to make these relations much better for a better world. Thank you. Valerie, hi, welcome. It's the stage is for you, Valerie. You make it. Yeah, thank you.
Right. So I think I'm not quite sure what you'd like me to talk about, but I suppose to connect with our previous speaker, obviously there is a long ongoing link between India and the UK, and I always thought it was a good thing that we were part of the EU, so that we could have that bridge between the Commonwealth countries and the EU, which is our largest trading partner. But it's obviously I'm in the opposition, and we hope to be in government. Nothing is guaranteed in life, but we will all work hard to make sure that we do get into power whenever the election is called. So I suppose for me it's starting out the link and continuing the link, both in opposition and hopefully when we get into government. But as I say, nothing is guaranteed in life. We just have to work very hard to make sure we get there. One of the things that I was very frustrated about was the fact that the UK left the Horizon programme as part of leaving the EU, and we respect the results of that referendum. But it took a while for our scientists and all those who are connected with the Horizon programme to get some certainty. And as you know, with scientists and money, it's always very difficult to plan ahead when you're doing research. So I'm really pleased finally it was signed at the beginning of this month, and we went in, because I think collaboration, whether it's through science or anything else, is so important for our future, the future of the planet. And whilst it's lovely to have differences, and I think it's so important to have differences, in the end, we are on one planet, and we've just got to make sure that we protect it for future generations. And that's the key thing. I don't know what Abhishek said in terms of under 40s. I think like an under 40, but I definitely am not. But I suppose that I bring to the table the experience of having been through both as a lawyer and as a councillor, and then being elected in 2010, and having been shadow leader of the House and seeing how Parliament can really operate properly, particularly during the COVID pandemic. So I suppose I'm really happy to take questions. If people prefer to ask questions, I'm happy to take questions. But just to say that I think, for me, the link is so important between the UK and India. And obviously, the EU, I'm a member of the UK-EU Parliamentary Assembly, which was set up to look at the trade agreement. And we've won some very useful concessions. When I say concessions, I think it's just working out where we are post leaving the EU. So Horizon was one, but the other main issue is making sure that our schools can travel freely. Schools can travel between the EU and UK like they used to, without too much difficulty, because I think it's so important for the younger generation to be able to travel and to be able to see different countries and different cultures. So I'm pleased that was agreed. And the other major thing is obviously the cultural side. We find that our touring artists are having a lot of difficulty moving from one EU country to another. So they have to complete forms as they move through each EU country, which of course wasn't there before. But I think we're making progress, and that's why I think these fora are so important. These conferences are so important for the future, because people can talk and iron out any problems and raise problems from our constituents. And it does go right back to our constituents. In the end, they're the ones that elect us, and it's so important to listen to them and hear from them. And that's what's so good about parliamentary democracy, that for us, I go back and I do my surgeries most weeks, or I take up their cases, but also I am their voice in Parliament. So I want to continue with keeping the dialogue up. I'd like to see something very similar for scholars. We have chiefening scholars come over, but I'm happy to work with anyone who wants to find some sort of way of allowing students to come here, maybe on a gap year, to do some work here. The Americans are very good at this, and I certainly think that we can build on that in the future. So people can see how Parliament works, they can get internships, and then go back to their country to pick up some of the good ideas, and reject some of the bad ideas as well. So that I think if you look at what's happening at COP28, it's about, I always feel it's about the next generation. We're only here for our part, and we have to play our part. But CBAM is very, very important, and making sure that those countries that it's hard not to use a term that's makes us, it's not looking back. So we're not talking about colonialism, but yet we are still seeing the effects of it throughout the world. And I think Mia Mottley put the case very well at the last COP. And that's why I think it's important for those in leadership positions to hammer out whatever agreements there are and whatever agreements they have to make this world safe for future generations. And I'm really pleased to be part of that. And I hope this dialogue will continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerie. Such an inspiring speech, and I hope you'll be in the cabinet soon, maybe in the next election, but wish you well for your next election. And thank you for your cooperation, coming and encouraging all the participants. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Ludovic from France to our 2023 Class of Europe India 40 leaders. Ludovic, this is your certificate.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much for this certificate and taking me part in this program for as a representative for France. Good morning to everyone, to any official. I don't know what who is the intent of official or member of parliament from European Union or maybe other countries. So good morning to all of you and all of my peers that I can see here. I'm very glad to be part of this class for 2023, and I can see that we have also other peers from France, so I'm glad that we are quite well represented this year, and I hope to meet all of you all soon. From my part, I'm president of the Indian Business Club in France. So we are trying with this club to also develop the economic relationship between France and India, and gathering quite an ecosystem to help any kind of organization from France or India to develop. So we are trying to have some expertise from any kind of people from government or diplomatic, and for sure also from business side. So for example, today we are doing our annual conferences. You can see on LinkedIn or internet, and we will gather some people from different part of foreign affairs and business side, so to help to know more about India and how we can do and develop business between our two countries. So I'm very happy to connect with through EICBI, through all of you, and I hope that we will connect more in few months as we will meet, and that we can how can I say maybe converge and contribute more together at the European level. So thank you very much again, Sujit, for this for taking me in this program for this year.
Thank you, Ludovic. Next, I would like to invite Mats from Denmark to our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia40 leaders. Mats, this is your certificate.
Thank you, Sujit and the EICBI. Thank you very much for your efforts in celebrating young leaders within the India-EU corridor. I'm very honored to be on this year's list, alongside so many other talented and hardworking colleagues across Europe and India. I also know and deeply respect quite a few of those leaders that have been nominated on previous year's lists. My name is Mads Losser, and I'm the director of the Indian-Danish Chamber of Commerce. We are a private, not-profit organization that supports bilateral commercial relationship between India and Denmark. Now, I have studied India extensively at the university, also had the luxury of studying both in Benares and at Manipal University, and now I've been 5 years or so with the IDCC, and I must say that my love and interest for this significant South Asian giant has never diminished. Another interesting fact is that things just move fast in India. I mean, despite my limited tenure of close to 10 years now, I can still clearly see a change from 2013 India to 2023 India, and I think that is part of what makes India so amazing. But India is not only amazing, it's also a very important country, and I think that importance has grown tremendously over the last few years. The importance are based on several pillars, some of which, at least from a Danish perspective, is the hub for young talent. We see Danish companies setting up huge global capability centers in India. We see there's a prominent location for diversifying and strengthening supply chains. So we see also Danish companies investing heavily in manufacturing in India. And then last but likely most importantly, the green transition, of course. And here India is just a pivotal partner for the world to succeed with its ambitions in the green transition. The world will not reach its goals without India. So that is my key driver, at least. And we're, of course, very lucky to have a determined Indian government that invites European and international companies to collaborate with India in that regard. So at IDCC, we also rest on those pillars in terms of what we do. We try to support our member companies with knowledge sharing platforms. We have networks on wind energy in India, on manufacturing in India, and 4 other such networks. We also try to put India on the agenda in Denmark, which has been somewhat easy lately just because our 2 countries are so connected, and our 2 prime ministers signed a green strategic partnership in 2020. And then lastly, we support, of course, bilateral delegations, of which there have been an increasing interest from Indian side to visit Denmark, where it used to be perhaps a little bit more one-sided. So we look forward to supporting that part as well going forward. But thanks again, and let me just end with this. I think the opportunities for increased collaboration between the EU and India are endless. We share the same values of democracy, multilateralism, a rule-based global order, and we also share the ambitious goals for the world's green transition, and that will not be successful without collaboration. So thanks again. I look forward to collaborating more with EICBI and all of you guys, and I hope to meet you all soon in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Our next leader is Manisha from Germany. Manisha, I would like to welcome you to our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia40 leaders. This is your certificate. Manisha will not be joining us today because she had another thing planned out. I would next like to invite Pallavi from India to our 2023 Class of EuropeIndia40 leaders. Pallavi, this is your certificate. Valerie, I see you here.
Yes, well, thank you so much. Very happy to be part of the batch of 2023. My name is Valerie Kalita, and I'm the Advocacy and Asia Lead at Business for Nature. We are a global coalition of more than 85 partner organizations, as well as forward-thinking companies. And my job as part of this coalition is to drive credible business action on nature and policy ambition to achieve a nature-positive future for all by 2030. And our global call to action, as you can see behind me on the screen, nature is everyone's business. And we are very grateful to the European Commission for being one of our generous funders to take forward this mission and this important work. In Asia, India is one of our key partners, given India's rich biodiversity, and we are working with leading businesses in India. And very recently, we launched a global business action campaign called It's Now for Nature, where we are encouraging companies to develop and publish nature strategies to meaningfully contribute towards a nature positive future for all. And the timing couldn't have been perfect with the EU Green Deal turning 4 very recently. And in terms of my own background, before Business for Nature, I was also working as a trade policy advisor with the EU and UK. So personally trying to combine my expertise on trade policy, business engagement, and now environment. I'll stop here and thank you once again for this honor.
Thank you, Pallavi. Next, I would like to call upon Patricia from Spain to our 2023 Class of Europe India 40 leaders. Patricia, this is your certificate. Patricia had an emergency meeting and she had to step out. Next, I would like to call upon Radhika from Belgium to our 2023 Class of Europe India 40 leaders. Welcome, Radhika. Over to you.
Hi. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here and listening to the stories of my fellow leaders who are part of this list. It's super inspiring, and like congrats to all of you as well. I'm actually the founder of Indicon. Indicon is a textile brand which designs handcrafted textiles for you as well as your home. Indicon is a love affair between two countries. I work with traditional Indian craft techniques and traditional Indian artisans who've been practicing their craft for generations. But my designs are inspired by Greece because my husband is Greek. So it's basically a tale of these two cultures. And I try to tell stories of craft, culture, and people through the medium of textiles. And collaborate with designers based out of Europe towards having a sustainable and ethical production of textiles in India and working towards cultural heritage preservation and sustainable craft preservation. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Radhika. I think I missed showcasing a certificate. This is your certificate. Congratulations, Radhika. Next, I would like to call upon Raj Venkat from Germany to our 2023 Class of Europe India 40 leaders. Welcome, Raj. Raj, this is your certificate. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you, Sujit. And thank you, Uday. And also thank you, the team of EICBI, for the great work. And thank you for the honor to have me here in the list of with the fellow leaders for this class. And I'm very happy. So myself, Raj Vangapandu, and I'm president of German Varsity. We are working nearly since a decade, bridging the academics bridges between the Indian universities and German universities. And currently created a clusters of 100+ universities among both the countries and working with the students of nearly 100,000 students. And I'm very happy. And personally, I'm an aerospace engineer, then actually converted to this Edupreneur now. And we'll be very happy to contribute ourselves towards academia from between the Europe and India. And also we're very happy to connect with our fellow leaders in the future to do good work between the bridging the, Europe and India. Thank you once again. Thank you, EICBI, for having me.
Thank you, Raj. Next, I would like to welcome Shruti Chandra from India to our 2023 Class of Europe India 40 leaders. Welcome, Shruti. This is your certificate. Over to you, Shruti.
Thank you so much, Sujit, and thank you to EICBI for this esteemed recognition. I'm really proud to be a part of this esteemed August gathering of leaders. I represent Invest India, the national investment promotion arm of the Government of India, and it's a privilege that I hold very dear. Our mission at Invest India is to catalyze investments, encourage innovation, and foster sustainable economic growth. I've been at Invest India for about 8 years now, and I look at UK and Canada across sectors, and I look at the retail and banking and financial services sector at Invest India as well. So these are the two sectors that I've been promoting and working on to encourage collaboration between UK, India, and Europe. And a pivotal role of the work and that I've been working on is not just on encouraging investments, but also how can we encourage R&D, innovation, and also trade. I would like to dedicate this award and this recognition to all my colleagues at Invest India who have been working tirelessly on working on collaboration and innovation at Invest India and Europe. And once again, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you at Invest in Europe in March. And I'd like to really thank everyone at EICBI for this recognition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shruti. Next, I would like to welcome Shubhadeep, who is playing a role in the UK-India corridor, to our 2023 Class of Europe-India 40 leaders. Welcome, Shubhadeep. This is your certificate. Over to you, Shubhadeep.
Thank you, Sujit, and thank you to the team at EICBI for this recognition. Truly delighted to be a part of this 2023 cohort and just hearing the stories from the other leaders today. My name is Shubhadeep. I work as an associate director with the UK-India Business Council and serve as the advocacy lead for the digital sector at the council. UKIDC, as it's known, serves as a voice for companies in the UK-India corridor, and my work has really spanned on various issues on the technology side, whether it's on data protection or cybersecurity. Over the last decade, besides the work on this corridor, I think my professional journey has also led me to look at EU India also in a particular lens. When I started my career, I was with the trade policy desk at the Commerce Ministry, and therein the early rounds of the EU India trade negotiations were taking place. 4 years back, I was also living in Berlin, and therein I was also working more on the research side with the Berlin Social Science Center. So, and now, of course, the work right now is focused on the business to government impetus on companies on the UK-India corridor. So wonderful to see the impetus to people-to-people ties on trade and commercial relations between the countries, between the regions. And also hearing the various contributions of the fellows and this platform also. So thank you once again, and I hope to see some of you or all of you in a physical setting very soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Shubhadeep. Next, I would like to welcome Swasti from India to our 2023 Class of Europe India 40 leaders. Welcome, Swasti. This is your certificate. Over to you, Swasti.
Hello, I hope I'm audible, and a very good morning to everybody who's joining us from UK and Europe, and a good afternoon to everybody who's joining us from India. And of course, it's an honor, and I've been talking to Sujit off and on about all the work that I've been doing, and it's really great. I see my friends here. Patricia is a good friend, Manisha is a good friend, and all the others. I look forward to making friends with you all. So just briefly about myself, I am Swasti, and I am a fellow at the Europe and Eurasia Center at the MPIDSA, which is the India's Ministry of Defense think tank. And as part of my work here, I do a lot of projects in collaboration with India's Ministry of External Affairs and the MOD, which is the Ministry of Defense. And my focus is usually on European geopolitics and geoeconomics. I'm also writing a book right now, which is called Conflicts in Europe Amidst Shifting Power Structures and Europe's Indo-Pacific Outreach. Not just that, I feel that, Europe and India are really, the relations have been on an upswing. So whether you pick up economics, other panelists have talked about that, including our parliamentarian. So we all know that there's a lot of untapped potential out there when it comes to trade. There's an FTA negotiation happening. There's a bilateral investment treaty happening. But not just that, there's also, in terms of the emerging digital order and all that Europe can offer, I think that's really something that India should be looking forward to. And then there is a part of, the defense cooperation, which has been burgeoning in last few years, especially since India's defense diplomacy towards Europe and the UK has been undergoing a revamp. And that is by and large the major part of work that I do. Before I became a full-time think tanker for the MOD, I was an assistant professor, and I was teaching international security and European security for 3 years. Other than that, I do, of course, a lot of writing. I do a fortnightly column for the print, which is focused on how the war is changing the business and the trade and security and all those issues in Europe. Not just that, I do a lot of other, policy writing for the government, etc. Other than this, as a part of my work, I also lecture and train the Indian Border Security Force commandants and the revenue service officers and other, Indian officers on the European geopolitics primarily. So this is by and large the work I do. I travel a lot to Europe. I'm very sorry for this air disturbance, but I'm at home to drop my daughter. So I had to, log in from here. So I apologize for all the disturbance. But yes, I indeed feel that India and Europe relations and that of the UK as well, I think we are at a cusp of a lot of change in the international order. And I would really like to see a lot of cooperation emerging from there. And we must have a very realistic view of the challenges that we would encounter along the way. So thank you so much for the patience, and thank you so much for this honor. Sujit, it's wonderful to see you in person. And I congratulate everybody out there, all the 20 leaders, and especially the women, because it's just great to see so many women doing the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Swasti. And next, I would like to welcome Walters from Latvia to our 2023 class of Europe India 40 leaders. Welcome, Walters. This is your certificate. I don't see Walters here, so we would go to our next leader. I would like to welcome Varun, who's been playing a role in the UK-India corridor, to our 2023 class of Europe India 40 leaders. Welcome, Varun. This is your certificate.
Thank you so much, Sujit, and thank you, EICBI. It's indeed an honor and a privilege to be a part of this cohort. Congratulations to all the leaders. I know we are running out of time, and I would emphasize again on the UK-India part. I'll just briefly tell what I do. So I'm the Deputy Head of Mission and I head trade and investments for the British government, covering the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. I come from a pharmaceuticals background. I'm a scientist myself, somehow ended in the diplomatic role. Obviously, my focus sectors is to look at handholding Indian companies to set their footprint in the UK. Pharmaceutical life sciences companies is my focus, but in addition to that, I also look into technology, EV and sustainability as the other sectors. I won't take much of your time. Thank you so much, and it's indeed an honor and a privilege to be. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Varun. So this is our leaders for our 2023 class. So we had, as I mentioned, 20 leaders, 11 men, 9 women from 13 nations who made up the list this year. So post this session, we'll be sharing a marketing kit, which includes the posters and the press release, so that you can share with your network. So without much ado, I would sort of welcome our Vice Chair, EICBI's Vice Chair for Events, Abhishek Tripathi, to give the vote of thanks. And over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Sujit. Thank you so much, our friends. This is our 5th year of inducting Europe India 40 leaders. And all I can say, it's we all know that you guys have been doing such a wonderful work. But this is also to inspire you and to look into your potential, to give acceleration to your potential, that you all collaborate together and do great work for EU India UK corridor and for the world. And like Sujit said, we look forward to see you at European Parliament. Thank you so much, again. Thanks to you. Thanks to honorable member of Parliament who joined us, and my colleagues Aryan, Sampada, Sujit. I wish you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you all. We'll be ending the session now. I look forward to seeing you all soon.